Thanks for joining me for the workshop, Clear, Intending and Preparing for Change. I'm excited to be sharing with you information about the Authentic Alchemy Path, my framework for change. So thanks so much for being here. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of a welcome, background on me and the framework, getting into the Authentic Alchemy Path in a deeper way, talking about preparing for change, and then the importance of clearing, how we can intend and prepare. I'm going to share more about future events that I'm holding, and then I'll be wrapping up. So welcome. The goals for this workshop are to empower you to create change and to share the Authentic Alchemy Path framework with you, because I believe it's really a powerful way for you to create the changes that you desire in your life and your work. I'm going to be going through the initial step in the process, which is called Clear. And what I hope you take away from this is that you can prepare for change, and it's as easy as really being intentional about it. So I'm going to share how you can work with clearing to support you in this process, and know that once you create space, that's when new possibilities can merge. So a little bit about me. I'm a transformational coach for conscious leaders who are seeking more soul in life and work. I'm an author and inspirational speaker. I'll be sharing more about my books. I'm a former corporate marketing executive. I worked in financial technology companies for over 20 years, and I've had my own business as a sole performer for over a decade. I combine and integrate multiple holistic, multidisciplinary modalities into my work. I'm a life coach, but I also am a somatic practitioner. I work with energy medicine and shamanic healing, crystals, astrology, as well as tarot counseling. I am familiar with EFT and tapping, and I lead cacao ceremonies. I integrate all of these modalities because I believe when we connect mind, body, spirit, we have a much more integrated way of showing up fully for the work that we're meant to do in the world. So here are my books. So what do you do? The Authentic Alchemy Path, to find who you are. And then there's a companion workbook. The workbook has all of the exercises in it, and it's really a beautiful way to support you in your journey. I review my holistic 8-step Authentic Alchemy Path framework, and it's really a life and work user manual to guide you through the process of change. It operates on 3 levels. The first level is really to give you very practical career strategies and activities you can do to move forward in contemplating any kind of change for your life and work. At the next level, I'm really guiding you through a transformational healing process, and I do that by working with the chakras, as I said. The chakras are energy centers in our crown, our third eye, our throat, our heart, our solar plexus, our sacral, and our root chakra. They're found in, if you're familiar with yoga and certain Asian traditions, these energy centers, when they're open, they create more flow for us. And I also believe each of us is on our own hero or heroine's journey. So the book guides you through that process so that you can understand there are no mistakes. Every experience you've had has been for a reason, and that it's meant to guide you to more of what you want. So here's the framework. There's a 4-step process, and I'm going to walk you through it very briefly. We're starting with step 0, right? Before we do anything, we want to prepare. I think this is so important and often underestimated, and that stuff I'm going to be talking about today. Then we get into the inner work. These are 3 of arguably the most important steps that I think are so often overlooked by people who are trying to create positive changes in their life and work, because often we jump into how we're going to show up and doing the activities and the resume and the LinkedIn and da 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 da. But if we haven't taken time to reflect on what's important to us in our inner landscape, we're missing out. So I start with realize, where you look at where you are and what you want and understand what's getting in the way. Usually that is experiences from the past. So in step 2, what we do is release. We help you clear what is weighing you down and holding you back. Now you'll notice there's clearing in this step, which is similar to the prepare, clear step. What's different is when we're doing release, we're really taking away the blocks that are holding us back from moving forward. The step we're focusing on today, clearing, is much more about preparing and getting ready to actually create change. Step 3, reclaim, is about trusting and integrating within yourself who you are, what you want to be. So when you've done that inner work, you've got this powerful foundation to move forward. The interpersonal work is where you bring this out into the world in connection with other people. So you reframe your message so you can communicate what's true for you. You reimagine what's possible. When we start, sometimes our vision is actually quite limited, or maybe it's really idealistic, but not aligned with what's true for us. So reimagining helps us to really clarify, what are we meant to do? What are we longing for? And how can we make that happen? And the outer work is where we start to show up fully and share who we are, what we want to do, and finally we can reap those rewards. So why is it important to prepare? Well, being intentional can really make a huge difference rather than being reactive. And I think what often happens is people say they want to change. Yeah, I'm going to do this. And then they don't actually change. Their life is so full of activities, they're busy, they have commitments, that how can they even start something new if they're not making space for it? But when we want to do things differently, we really need to be thoughtful and have a plan. I like to use the example, if my cup is full, there's nothing else I can pour into it without it overflowing, and it's not going to hold what I want to drink, right? So we need to empty our cup so we can fill it with what is really going to be fulfilling for us. As human beings, we have a natural compulsion to fill empty spaces. Will Shortz shared this quote, and I think it's very apropos, right? Whenever stuff is empty, we tend to fill it up, but that's not always helpful. So we need to be able to sit with openness, because if we're full, there's not a lot of room or spaciousness for new things to become available. So let's think about fullness. I think on the good side, fullness can mean we're nourished, we're satisfied, we have the time for what matters, we can do really fun activities, we have connections that are important to us, and we feel satiated, which is we've had enough in a good way. Bad full means we're overwhelmed, we're stressed and burned out, we feel overcommitted, we get anxious, we don't have boundaries, people are constantly demanding things from us, and we feel stuffed. It's like that feeling after Thanksgiving dinner where we had so much turkey and dessert and stuffing that we can't have another thing. So I'm curious, have you experienced feeling good full and bad full? And how do those feel for you in different moments? So let's think about, what does fill you up? How are the ways that maybe you felt full that don't feel great? Are you busy all the time, overscheduling your calendar? Do you answer work messages in the evenings and weekends? Are your closets stuffed to overflowing, or do you have piles, on your desk so you can't even find the work you need to focus on? Do you sometimes feel overwhelmed because you've said yes to everyone except for yourself? These are just some examples, but maybe there are different ones that you have. Now, I'd like you to consider, how do you experience enjoyable fullness? Have you had a great meal that you really loved the taste of, that you could just remember and soak it up? Did you do an active weekend or a vacation where you had all these meaningful experiences? So, what would it feel like to have more space and time for what you want? Well, this is why I focus on clearing. Clearing creates white space, open space, right? It lets us clear the decks and see what's actually possible because we have openness. And when we're not bad full, we can actually feel like, oh, what's present for us now? How do I actually feel? What is it that I need? What do I really want? And how can I move forward? When we're overwhelmed, it can be hard to actually connect with like what we really want, because we're in a place of reactivity rather than proactivity. So finding a moment of stillness can give your heart a chance to tell you where you really need to be. This is such a beautiful reflection to consider. What is it that I most want, and how can I feel what it is my heart is asking for? So I'm just going to guide you through a very brief visualization and meditation process to give you an opportunity to connect with what you want. I'd invite you, we're going to do 3 deep breaths in through the nose for a count of 4 and out through the mouth for a count of 7. We're going to start now. In and out. You can close your eyes if you want to, or just leave them briefly, looking downward, breathing in and out. One last time, in and out. And just imagine yourself in a space that you love. Could be in nature. It could be sitting on the beach or on some grass. Could be in a beautiful room that you love, or a space in your home. And simply imagine being present in your experience, very relaxed and grounded. And from this place of deep connection to your body, I invite you to notice, are there any spaces, either physically, emotionally, in your mind, where you feel heaviness? Maybe there's a thought, an activity, something that you feel an obligation. It could be a physical thing in your space that's taking up room that you don't enjoy. Just notice, what's the first thing that comes to your mind that maybe is heavy. Maybe it's something you've been holding on to tightly, that you're not really sure why, but it feels important. But maybe you're ready now to let it go. I'm going to invite you in your mind's eye to imagine letting go of this heaviness. You can do that in a few ways. In a moment, we'll do some breathing, and we can use that as one way of dissolving the heaviness. You can also imagine energetically crunching it up in your hands and then putting it down to the side, knowing that you're setting it down briefly for the moment, but it's always there and you can come back to it if you want to. We're going to go through a deep out breath with the mouth open in a minute. So breathing in, and on the out breath, letting go. Let's do that again. In and releasing the heaviness now. In again one more time, and out. Breathing out, releasing, dissolving. I invite you to just notice, do you feel any lighter having let go, even in your imagination, something that was weighing you down? We're going to talk more about the process of clearing, which is the same as creating space or lightness. It starts by consciously choosing your priorities. What's important to you? What do you really care about? We want more of that in our life and our work. So think about, what is it that you really care most about? When I ask people this, I find it's not surprising, but obviously very interesting. Often what comes up is family, free time, sleep, exercise, right? Reading, reflection. These are things that we care about, and yet we tend to fill our schedule with other things that maybe don't let us do what we most love. So notice if there's anything that doesn't align with your goals. So that's a bad, full feeling. Consider, what could you or would you like to let go of? And then you're going to determine how you can create more space. Are you going to clear out your schedule? Are you going to declutter a physical area? Are you going to say no to something that you've been doing that you don't want to do anymore? Just one action to consider. And then as you start to make these shifts in the action that you're taking, you will open up more space. And then you can consider, how do you start adding back the activities that you really love, enjoy, and want to spend more time on? I go into this in a lot more depth in my book. Why? Because what I found is people say they want to change their career, they want to step into something more meaningful, but they don't make the time for it. So really, if this is something you're longing for, it needs to start somewhere by intentionally claiming space that you're ready to make a change. Maybe it's time to let go. Do you have enough space now to create the change that you desire? And if you were still and able to sit with yourself and have some spaciousness or time, what might you notice that maybe you didn't want to notice, that you've been avoiding or denying? What's really going on for you? And are you ready to create the changes that you want? Consider what came up for you. Are there any new ideas? You can share any questions in the chat. I'd like to share more about my upcoming Authentic Alchemy Path events. I have a series of free intros, which are 30-minute calls like this that'll run from 12:30 to 1 p.m. on weekdays. And then I dive much deeper into the step within my framework that I've covered. These are 1-hour master classes, and they're $22, and they run from 6 to 7 p.m. So following up on this workshop, Clear, on Tuesday evening, July 15th, I'm going to be going much deeper. So in the masterclass, you'll get questions for reflection beforehand. You'll get worksheets and activities. And then during the session, I'm going to guide you through in-depth exercises, some of which are covered here in the book, but we'll go even deeper, and I'll guide you through how you can start taking those steps. So I hope that you'll join me. You can sign up at alchemypathevents.eventbrite.com. That's how you register for this. And I hope that you'll join me for those future activities. I also wanted to share a special offer I have, which is a new way of working with me. It's called the Reveal Report. And this is a way to get input and support around changing whatever your most pressing challenge is. So you identify the issue that you're struggling with through a self-assessment questionnaire, and then I uncover where this block exists in your body. I work with the chakras to clear it, but to give you an example, is this an unhelpful thought that you have? Just to check in, did you notice, was there anything that's been weighing you down that you would like to release? What have you been holding on to? Maybe it's time to let go. Do you have enough space now to create the change that you desire? And if you were still and able to sit with yourself and had some spaciousness or time, what might you notice that maybe you didn't want to notice, that you've been avoiding or denying? What's really going on for you? And are you ready to create the changes that you want? So you can consider what came up for you. Are there any new ideas? You can share any questions in the chat. So I'd like to share more about my upcoming Authentic Alchemy Path events. I have a series of free intros, which are 30-minute calls like this that'll run from 12:30 to 1 p.m. on weekdays. And then I dive much deeper into the step within my framework that I've covered. These are 1-hour master classes, and they're $22, and they run from 6 to 7 p.m. So following up on this workshop, Clear, on Tuesday evening, July 15th, I'm going to be going much deeper. So in the masterclass, you'll get questions for reflection beforehand. You'll get worksheets and activities. And then during the session, I'm going to guide you through in-depth exercises, some of which are covered here in the book, but we'll go even deeper and I'll guide you through how you can start taking those steps. So I hope that you'll join me. You can sign up at alchemypathevents.eventbrite.com. That's how you register for this. And I hope that you'll join me for those future activities. I also wanted to share a special offer I have, which is a new way of working with me. It's called the Reveal Report. And this is a way to get input and support around changing whatever your most pressing challenge is. So you identify the issue that you're struggling with through a self-assessment questionnaire, and then I uncover where this block exists in your body. I work with the chakras to clear it, but to give you an example, is this an unhelpful thought that you have? Are you unable to access your voice? Is it something that's preventing you from having the vision you want or connecting? Or are there other beliefs or actions or behaviors that might be holding you back? And I will energetically clear that for you. I'll give you some ways to work with and create the changes that you're looking for through a natural element: air, earth, fire, water, or ether, giving you personal practices and rituals. I'll give you affirmations that you can work with, as in addition to an intuitively selected oracle or tarot card reading that will inspire and guide you. And I am going to give you a personalized report as well as a recorded video with this information that can help you to move forward. The investment is $111. You can add on a private coaching session for 45 minutes at a cost of $222 more. And I also have an astrology analysis where I get into the placement of the planets in your houses related to this specific challenge. For the first 5 clients, this will be free. And if you'd like to purchase it thereafter, it'll be $111. So I wanted to share some other goodies. My book and workbook you can purchase on Amazon. I really hope you'll consider buying them and leaving a positive review. I have so many more resources on my website, growthwarrior.co. You can follow me on Instagram at Lenore Kantor and hashtag Authentic Alchemy Path. And if you want to go deeper, I do offer discovery calls. So this is my calendly.com, growthwarrior /discovery. And you can book a free 30-minute call where we can explore what you're longing to create and whether coaching can support you forward. So just to wrap up, I hope that you had some takeaways from this process about how clearing can help you to create the space to consider what it is that you want. I hope you had an idea for at least one area where maybe you might want to release something that's been heavy for you. And please feel free to reach out with any questions. I'm delighted that you were able to join me for this session. And thank you so much for being here.